All right, looks like we're live. I'm a software engineer. I've been working in the industry for the last 8 years, mostly doing full stack development. So that's web coding, building out websites, as well as backends, servers for those servers for those websites, and then using AWS on the infrastructure side. Recently, for the last little over 3 weeks, I've been streaming my game development learning journey using the Godot open source game engine. I've just been building out kind of a playground where I can test features, work on some different things that I might want to use in a game that I build in the future, which I'll probably start at some point in the next few months, but really want to get a better understanding of Godot, game development in general, the process, how to build some of these systems and features, how to integrate them, and basically do all of that before I get started. So as I normally do in my streams, I start out by showing what I've built recently, or I guess what the playground consists of at the moment. So we pop in here with the main menu. You can continue a game, start a new game, load a new game. Hold on one sec. Okay, I'm connected to the right Wi-Fi. Continue game, start a new game, load a game from a save file. So we have different save files you can see here. You can load them and delete them. If we start a new game, we get placed into a top-down view of a player, which you control with your keyboard, and the player looks where your mouse is moving. The red triangle you see, as well as the blue circles, are debug values, so it makes it easier for me to test. The base premise for this game or playground right now is that you are against a bunch of zombies, and the only way you can see them is if you have your flashlight turned on, which is this red triangle. So when you turn it on, you can see the zombies, and then when you move away from the zombies or turn it off, you don't see them anymore. Recently, I've been creating an inventory system and different UI menus. I've also recently added a weapon inventory system, so you can drag and drop different weapons. So right now there's just a rifle and a sword with some rifle ammo. So if we reload, we can shoot the zombies. Last stream I added a weapon delay, so you can't just spam shoot your weapon. For inventory wise, I've added the ability to stack different inventory items that are of the same type, as well as drag and drop. And this allows you to see both the zombies inventory as well as the player's inventory. And you can see in the top left the amount of total ammo that we had increased based on the amount that we added into the inventory. And then if we show off the sword here as well, we can see that there's no animation for it yet. It's the same as the shooting animation. It does a little bit less damage than the rifle, and there's also a weapon delay. I've built out if we zoom out, I've built a chunking system. So as you move left and right, different chunks load in and out, which load zombies in, as well as save zombies when the chunks are dereferenced. There's a whole save system around that I've built, so you can save your game, which is actually broken right now because I didn't test that after I made some changes. So it looks like some of the changes I made in the stream yesterday related to player weapons has broken the save system. So I created the difference between a ranged weapon and a melee weapon. Hey Raycast, how's it going? So I created the difference between a ranged weapon and a melee weapon, and it seems like based on the player save system, I've only been taking into account the ranged weapon save, so that's probably why it broke here. So let's go ahead and fix that, and then I think for the stream, I don't know how long I'll stream for, but kind of depends on how long it takes me to build these next couple features. But I want to add knockback for the sword, and then I want to add a UI element for weapon delay, because not every weapon can, shoot infinitely fast. Raycast says, even I am making a game. Got any tips? I'd say start small. UE5, I'm using Godot. I don't have any tips specifically for Unreal Engine, but just for game development in general, I'd say start as small as you possibly can. Pick the fewest number of features possible and then cut that in half. And from there, just try to finish whatever you're building. Don't add more features. Don't let scope creep get in. Just try to build exactly what you've set out to build, and go with that, because it can do a lot for your confidence to finish a project and get that launched and shipped, even if it doesn't go anywhere, even if you don't do anything with it. Just learning what it takes to actually release a game or finish a game, whether that's for a game jam or just for yourself. It's really important. So I'd say just start small, start really small. And once you get your legs under you and understand more about coding and Raycast, don't quit your main job. Yeah, that's another piece of advice. Okay, well, then you have a little more time than the rest of us. Yeah, unless you have the resources and means to, yeah, don't quit college either. Unless you have the means or resources to do this full time, I'd say, an hour or two here and there is will go a long way after even a short period of time. Yeah, good luck with your game dev journey. What are you building? Or what do you want to build? All right, let's fix the save issue here. So it's in player line 283. So get player data for save. All right, so weapon is not equal to null. Okay, so we haven't, we now have a legacy value in our save system, which is projectiles and mag. Our weapons aren't guaranteed to have ammo because we have both ranged weapons and melee weapons now. So this value isn't theoretically going to be supported in every use case. What we can do though is, at the very least, say if weapon does not equal null and weapon is ranged weapon, we can still save this the way it is. So I think that should resolve the issue here. Oops. Let me close this. Raycast says, I'm trying to build a story-based horror game which tells you the punishment of hell for every action you do according to the Hindu mythology. That's cool. Nice. Is it 2D or 3D? Alright, let's give this a try. Hit save. Alright, that should be good. And then I assume we can still load this latest save. Can't reload a non-weapon. So we... I thought I fixed this yesterday. I guess I did fix... I definitely thought I fixed this, but I guess I didn't. Or if I did, it got unsaved. This should only be asserting after... Wait. Assert weapon is weapon, can't reload a non-weapon. Oh, this should actually be ranged weapon now. And yeah, that should happen after that if statement. Okay. Cool. $3D. Nice. Is it like are you controlling the character? Is it kind of like a oh, what's the game called? Why can't I think of it? Horror game. It's like a very famous horror game, either like yeah, Amnesia or what's the indie one that got really popular a while ago? I forget what it's called. Oh, Outlast, I think is what it was called. All right, so let's start working on the... I'm gonna make a note for myself too that I need to add the inventory to the save system, which is something I should probably do sooner rather than later before I get too far down the inventory rabbit hole. Okay, so let's start out with adding knockback to the melee weapons. So this, I mean, I guess we could technically add knockback to any weapon. But let's just stick with melee weapons for the moment. It would be easy enough to move to ranged weapons if we wanted to in the future. So we can say var knockback, and let's call it, let's let it be a float. And we'll add a getter and a setter. So basically what we want to do is say if result.get, and on this object we have a function called intersection, which basically returns us information about the kind of ray tracing we do to understand if we've hit another object. So if this is not null, then we also want to do, let's see, where are we actually? Oh yeah, okay, so we are doing this already in weapon a little bit, but we can also do it here, and we might want to consolidate this at some point if we have, especially if we have knockback happening for any weapon type. I guess we could, and we could just set knockback to 0 for ranged weapons. But let's just do it in melee weapon for now. So we say var intersection equals result.get intersection. The intersection is not null, and position isn't null. If the collider is a zombie, so right now we only have a zombie enemy, we will probably want to make like a generic enemy in the future if we ever decide to have more. We don't want to say take damage. We actually want to have a function on zombie called take knockback. And we can pass in self.knockback. So that means we need to add a function called knockback, which takes a value, which is a float. It will return void. And so we basically need to modify this move zombie in some way. basically when we, let's see. So I need to relearn kind of what the move zombie logic is, because it's been a while since I've messed with this. Let's actually gonna look this up real quick, because it's probably easier to see how someone else does this. Okay, so it's just a vector. You add your velocity for a period of time. Get the vector from the colliding object and then an entity which was hit. You then normalize this vector and multiply it by a strength amount. Oh, I guess we can do that calculation in the... Yeah, okay, so I could lerp the knockback. So... I need to remind myself what the lerp function does in Godot. I think it, like, slowly... Hold on. Let's look at the docs for this. From to wait. Linearly interpolates between two. Okay, so it's a linear interpolation between two values by the factor defined in param weight. To perform interpolation, param weight should be between 0 and 1 inclusive. However, values outside this range are allowed and can be used to perform extrapolation. If this is not desired, use clamp on the result of the function. Both param from and to must be the same type. Supported types int float. Okay, so it'll be a vector 2, and the weight will be the knockback. So looks like yeah, it seems like knockback will eventually end up at 0. Whoops. With this approach, so I think that's fine. So if we set the internal knockback, say it's a float equal to 0. Or do we want it to be a vector? Hold on. Where does knockback get set to not 0 here? Okay, so if we go for use vector 2 dot lerp. Oops. Okay, so let's actually call this a vector 2. Okay. This is called take knockback. Right, yeah. And we'll say knockback strength. And we'll clamp. We'll clamp K. What are the values here? It's value min max. So clamp it from 0 to 1. Why are you yelling? Oh, right, because you're knockback strength. Okay, so knockback strength can never be greater than 1 or less than 0. All right, self.knockback strength. I mean, instant knockback in that it starts immediately, but then it like eases back towards the normal movement of the zombie. Which is why I was going to use the linear interpolation. But I haven't done this too much, and so I'm trying to reason about what I should be setting knockback to, because I'm not understanding. Like, this is what I'm passing in from the weapon, the knockback strength, which is the weight that the linear interpolation should essentially decrease knockback to towards 0. Oh, maybe that's supposed to be the like opposite, the negative vector of the ray cast. So like essentially the opposite direction that it's taking damage. So we would do like direction, like knockback direction, and then knockback strength. And so we would set, we'll say knockback direction, and then and then we have strength, so we'll say knockback direction equals KD, self.knockback strength equals KS. And then we also need to pass in the direction here, which I'm sure there's a way to get from this ray parameters to from yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, so I guess if I then just pass in the, let's see, I have the player global position already. So I can say, I think I can just do, oh, if I take, okay, I'll pass in the player position. And then knockback direction would be Yeah, you said it was zombie minus player. Self.global position minus knockback direction, which is actually player position. So let's update this. Yes, it should be normalized. Which I'm doing here for, okay, so normalized. A lot of this movement stuff I'm still wrapping my head around. I did a lot of this a while ago, and okay, so we need to say, what was it? So we need to lerp knockback. And it was knockback direction. So self.knockback direction equals, I guess they were saying vector 2.lerp. No, that isn't a function. Is it vector.lerp? I'm just gonna use the normal lerp. Self.knockback direction. Let's say vector 2.0 and then self.knockback strength. And I think then we want to say if self.knockback direction. Maybe we only want to do this if self.knockback direction is not equal vector 2.0. And then I mean, if I'm not crazy, it might just be this everywhere that the zombie's moving, but I might also be crazy, so let's give this a try. Okay, so are we? Oh, okay, so melee weapon. All right, let's give this a go. Let's start a new game because I've killed a lot of the zombies already in that save. I have a sword. Okay, so that doesn't do anything. It's possible it is doing something, it's just minuscule. So, oh wait, what? I said knockback strength with 0. I hadn't set that yet in the sword, so that's actually probably part of the problem. Knockback strength equals, let's just give it 0.5. I don't know what any of this is gonna look like yet. Okay, that also does nothing. So that's not the problem. It might also be to do with delta. So let's see. Here they're not using delta, but maybe I need to multiply delta after this happens. Oops. So maybe it should be maybe it should be this. Knockback direction. Wait, is velocity a vector? Yeah, it is. Okay. Let's give this a try. So anywhere I'm doing self.velocity, which I think is just these 3 places. Okay, here's another go. Nope, not doing anything. So let's check the values then of this. So we'll print out knockback direction every time it's not vector 2.0. Whoops. My aspect ratio is messed up here. Wait. All right, I'll wait for you. All right, so it seems like it is being lerped. But my guess is it's just not a big enough amount, because if we look at, let's also print out direction and speed. Something wrong with delta? You mean it was wrong with delta before I added knockback direction or after? Okay, so let's just look at the knockback strength should be calculated with delta. So when I'm lerping here, oh, should it also be multiplied by delta? Let's give that a try. It's also possible it's just not enough strength. No, that doesn't do anything. Although that should theoretically make the lerp much longer, which it is, as we can see here. So maybe with that change, though, the knockback direction should be added on to everything rather than inside and then multiplied by delta. Hey, Copy, how's it going? So knockback strength is the lerp value, basically. Is it distance vector per time unit? It's, well, I guess it's actually supposed to be like how far back the zombie gets knocked, but I'm trying to do it in a but I'm using it as the like lerp value, which maybe doesn't make sense. all I did was add knockback onto this, right? Yes, and then I think same for, whoops. Same for here. Yeah, it's just add. Okay, let's give this a try. Nope. All right, so I have a feeling that these values are just so small that it's not actually changing anything. So let me just print out direction and speed. Hey, my Vomachema. How's it going? I don't know how to say your name. All right, let's print out direction plus string of direction, and then print out velocity. So let's see if this is at all like close to the knockback that we have here. Speed times delta, because it might be either huge, it might be like very big, and so if knockback direction's small, it's not going to be making any difference. Let's give this another go. Brian. Okay, I'll call you Brian. It's much easier. All right, let's see what these are. Yeah, okay, so the velocity is huge. This is kind of small. Let's see if I can. I actually don't think I can get Godot to be bigger. But anyway, it's -23 and -62 as an example, and our knockback strength is like, you know, less than 1 in each direction, so that's not going to do anything. So the knockback direction, maybe it's, oh no, knockback direction is fine, but knockback direction is, wait, should it be normalized? I actually don't know if it should be normalized. Oh, there we go. Okay. So yeah, it shouldn't be normalized. So it's not working like ideally, but it's definitely. Yeah, I'm also on Twitch. If you want to follow me in both places, you're welcome to do that. Yeah, I use Restream to stream to both here, and it works out pretty well actually. Yeah, so we've got the knockback working. It's pretty slidey, but the zombies themselves are relatively slidey. So what it means is that the lerping is not happening fast enough. So the oh, no, wait. Who was it was suggesting normalized? I think DDD, was it? Yeah, so I think you're right. Yes, you're right. And strength shouldn't be the lerp amount. Strength should be what I multiply the direction by. So I would want to do like times KS, except I have this set so that it can only be between 0 and 1. So let's actually not clamp it. Without normalization, KD distance will be different each time. Yeah. So yeah, you're right. It does want to be normalized, but using the strength for the wrong thing. So I want to use the strength to say how far away it should get pushed, basically. And then I need to set like a relatively high value for the lerp so that it comes back reasonably quickly. So I actually don't need knockback strength anymore. Where was I even using that? So let's get rid of knockback strength. Hey Marcus, I'm using GD script. So I've built out a little game development playground for myself to learn more about game dev and get more familiar with the Godot open source game engine. And they have a language that is that they've built for the game engine called GD script. So it's kind of like Python, or it at least looks like Python. Hey Marcus. All right, so when we're lerping here, let's just try. Hold on, lerp is supposed to have weight, so it should also be. Let's just say 1 for the moment. I'm curious what this is gonna look like now. No, I just broke it. I broke everything. Yeah, it looks similar to Python, but different at the same time. Yeah. Lerp used wrong? Okay. Look at me. I'm going against what I would suggest anyone else to do. Which is just basically trying things and not reading the documentation. So lerp goes from this to destination. Right, and doesn't it do that in steps of the weight? So like if I wanted to go from knockback direction to 0. I do have destination. Yeah, let's do vector 2 lerp because so we do have an error here. Too many arguments. Expected at most 2 but received 3. Zombie lerp takes zombie position. Hold on, I need to, what is 2 and then wait. Can I call non-static function lerp on the class vector 2 directly? Oh, am I supposed to do? No, I haven't been streaming for 22 hours. I started this timer, I don't know, maybe 10 or 11 streams ago. I try to stream every day. It's probably not going to be something I can sustain forever, but I've been doing it for the last like 3 weeks. And so I just start it at the beginning of streams and stop it. So I don't know. I've been on stream over the last like 10 or 11 days for 22 hours. But no, I've been on for like 45 minutes. I mean, lerp is a zombie method. Is it supposed to be like self.direction.lerp? And then towards the knockback direction. And then the weight is like vector 2 if it did 1, 1 or something. Maybe it's supposed to be that. And when I say self.direction, I mean... Is that what I mean? Self.direction? Or self.velocity? Is direct... I think direction is... Yeah, no, self dot velocity dot lerp. Nope. Cannot pass a value of type vector2 as float. Current velocity. So it's a vector2. Wait, cannot pass a value of type vector2. Invalid argument for lerp function. Argument 2 should be float. Oh. What? I don't understand. Alright. DDD, okay, well that, that worked in the opposite direction that I was expecting it to. That's funny. Okay, so the game crashed because I don't handle game end state very well. That was interesting. So should it be... Okay, so... Oh, and I'm also doing knockback direction here. Okay, I feel like I'm getting... Oh, wait. Hold on. I think it should be self dot knockback direction dot lerp. Wait, is that gonna... Yeah. Between 2 points. I wish I understood. Okay. Let's go back, because just randomly trying stuff is not gonna be helpful here. There was a point here where we actually had it working. And I think it might have been here. Nope. I am not happy with myself right now. No, okay. Okay, let's... So knockback distance should be 1 at first frame, 0.9 at second, 0 after 10 frames. Yes. Except I want it to be like a negative velocity. Like it needs to be a negative velocity on the zombie and lerp the velocity down to 0, or I guess the knockback direction to 0, and then when knockback is direction is 0, then the zombie moves at the normal speed. What is knockback strength again? It's 0.5. Invalid get index knockback strength. Oh, shoot. So I'm trying to access knockback strength somewhere. Okay. So you're saying negative velocity is direction of knockback distance, but KD modulus distance from 1 to 0. So part of the issue before was just that I think at some point this was working, and the issue was that the knockback direction was just way too small relative to the velocities. Like you can see here, the velocity is negative 55, negative 36 for the zombie, but the knockback is like less than 1, so it's not gonna do anything. Hold on one second. I thought my dogs were doing something weird, but I think it's just the music. So knockback direction is just way too small. So knockback strength is 10. So we're in knockback direction. Let's set knockback direction. Self dot knockback direction. So the idea is this should be. Oh, okay, and then this is wrong. So let's just try this at 0.1. So the knockback, when we're setting set knockback direction. Okay, that seems not unreasonable. But then knockback direction itself is getting, seems like it's getting lerped really quickly. Okay, so we understand what these are. So let's get rid of that. So we're not getting spammed. It might even still be that it's too small. So let's try this at 100. Oh yeah, okay, so we see a little pushback here. So we're getting a teeny bit of pushback. Knockback direction missing here. I don't think I'm missing the duration. I think it's lerping properly. It's just it's now lerping properly. It's just the value is really small. So something's maybe not being normalized properly, or is being normalized when it shouldn't. Oh right, that I removed the normalization. Hey CVG, how's it going? Good to see you on again. For anyone new that's joined, I'm struggling to deal with, I'm trying to add knockback for melee weapons, and I'm struggling to deal with that knockback working properly, but I think I'm getting close. So let's up this to 500 here. Oops. Oh my god. There we go. Okay, so that's working. So that's, I mean, that's kind of what I was wanting. It was like basically exactly what this is doing. So I might just leave it as is. And if it starts to mess with other stuff, then I'll deal with that. But it's doing what I want now. So even if it's a little janky, I can't complain too much. So I guess just to take a step back and talk through why this is working. So when we have a ray collision, which is how we're calculating both ranged weapon and melee weapon hits, when we have a ray collision with another object, if it's a zombie, we call take knockback, which returns the player position so that we can determine basically the opposite direction that the zombie should get pushed, as well as a knockback strength. So does self.knockback strength get used anywhere? It doesn't, so we don't need to set that. So we're getting the direction that the zombie should move in, and then we're multiplying it by the knockback strength. And then, I guess we should update this not to be knockback direction, but knockback velocity, because it's a velocity now. So that's probably where part of the confusion is coming in. So knockback velocity. Great. Okay, so we are then adding the knockback velocity to the zombie's velocity, which if the knockback velocity is larger in the opposite direction than the current velocity, we can it will move the opposite way, so essentially get knocked back. And then at the end of our move, we check if knockback velocity does not equal vector 2.0, then we lerp from the knockback velocity to 0 in increments of 0.1 per frame, because physics process, which is calling move zombie, is happening once per frame, or being called once per frame. My dog had a procedure yesterday, so she's been a little off the last 24 hours. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. It was way more back and forth than I needed it to be. Fix player save and added knockback to melee weapons. Okay. What's the timer on the screen? So I've been streaming for the last like 3 weeks. Not entirely. I've taken breaks in between. But for the last like 10 or 11 streams, I've just added a timer that basically says, how long I've been streaming. So over the last 10 or 11 streams, I've been streaming 22-ish hours. It's just to have something moving on the screen at all times. I find it kind of fun to follow, but it doesn't really mean anything. Okay, so we added knockback, so we can mark that off. So now we want to add a UI element for weapon delay. So in weapon, whoops, we have a value called weapon delay. Yeah. You know, I have to remember every time I start and stop streaming to like start and stop the timer, but it's easy to, you know, set up again. But yeah, it's just kind of nice, and then people who come join can ask that question and get that same answer. And at some point I'll have, you know, it'll be a high enough timer that it's like, okay, I've been building out this like game development playground and learning game development for that amount of time, and the time before that, you know, is somewhat irrelevant. All right, so we want to have a UI element for weapon delay here. I'm sure a number of ways I could do it. The first way I'm thinking is like a Gears of War reload animation, which would be kind of cool. Not with like the trigger, but basically having it go like all the way across, and then when it gets to the, you know, from left to right, that's when you can attack again. But in the vein of wanting to build more features than work on how pretty the things are that I'm building, I'm probably going to opt for like either a just like straight up number, or even I could do like a red dot and then a green dot on the player that basically says like you can or can't attack. What if I've hooked this up to the weapon delay manager, right? Yeah. So I guess it would be relatively easy to then attach this to the like player through the game manager. Let's see. So if I were to pull up player, it's a per shot delay. So let me pull up the game real quick. It's kind of hard to tell right now, obviously, because I don't have the UI element. But for the rifle, for example, I'm just going to start clicking as fast as I can. And, you know, it's not going to like show up in on the stream super well. But, oops, I need to give myself more ammo. But the you can see that the kind of shooting animation doesn't happen all the time. There's a little bit of delay between that, so it's a per shot delay, not a reload delay. Hold on one sec. So yeah, per shot, which I think I might just add a little element to the player that like is just a circle. When it's green, you can use your weapon. When it's red, you can't, kind of thing. Just to make things really simple. Really simple. Or maybe I'll do that in like the... No, I'll put it on the player. It's easy enough. So we'll have, let's see. I think we can basically hard code it because you don't need to worry too much about how it looks. So it doesn't necessarily need indication. The only reason why it would be nice is because there's no animation that really says like there's no sound and there's no animation yet that says an action has taken place other than like the little like sparkle when you actually use the weapon and when it hits something. I just want there to be some indication that you can make an action again, and it's not necessary. It's just like a little nice to have. I think there are different ways you do it once you add in like better animations, better sound design, or any sound design. But for now, since there's no sound to it, I think it's kind of a nice like effect. But I'll code it up. If it doesn't look good or doesn't make sense or is happening too fast, then I can easily remove it. Okay, so we'll just have a little color rectangle here, and we should see this like move around like that, which is good. So a couple things. We only want this to be, let's see, let's just call it weapon delay animation. So we only want this to be visible when a weapon is equipped. So this is weapon delay, animation, scene. Animation. So when I don't think we have anything that denotes equipping or unequipping a weapon. So I think for the moment, without adding stuff elsewhere, I'm just gonna say when we use, when we get weapon, get inventory weapon. So we will say weapon if weapon equals null. We'll just set so bool equals null, else isn't the right way of doing it, but I'm just gonna do this for now. Invisible might not even, oops, visible equals false, visible equals true, and then return weapon. What did you say? In mobile and MMOs, there are ability icons that go from grayed out to active. Yeah, it's kind of gonna be like that, basically. And I was just gonna use like red and green to indicate, and then hide it when a weapon isn't available. So if I equip a weapon and then I shoot, it does appear. So that is like close enough to what I want it to do. If I unequip and then try to attack again, it goes away. So that's fine for the moment. I could make it so that when I actually do the equipping, it sets that the visible or not visible. Maybe I just add an equip weapon function. It returns void and then does exactly this. And then in weapon inventory, this gets to be a little too interconnected in my opinion. Oh no, it does actually, hold on. Let's see, with weapon inventory, that just gets created there, but there's no, I'm not connecting anything. Okay, actually, what I'll do is add a signal. Emit weapon equipped. And this will just have a boolean, so say is equipped bool. So okay, if that isn't null, we'll say emit self.emit weapon equipped.emit true. Otherwise, we'll set it to false. Oops. And then we need to connect in inventory. So ready. I think it's fine to do it there. Maybe we want to do it on a knit. Okay, we need another signal here though, which is actually we don't. We can say when the player is ready. We'll say self.inventory.weaponinventory.connect emit weapon equipped and say self.equip weapon. Okay, let's see if this gets triggered. I think we can undo our changes here. Just say return. All right, let's give this a try. So, no, that's not triggering. Inventory.weapon. Emit weapon equipped. Let's just make sure this is getting emitted. Self.emit weapon equipped.emit true. Oh, we're not getting. You're late. It's okay. I probably won't be on too much longer. This is kind of the last feature that I'm hoping to work on today. But I won't be on tomorrow, and I will be on maybe Monday evening. If not, then definitely Tuesday. Got a busy next couple of days coming up. But I mean, I've been on for an hour and 15 minutes, so you're not like that late. It's not so late. Don't worry about it. There will be more streams. Okay, so it's not that. It's if not is equipped, then we set it to. Let's flip this. So if equipped, set it to true, otherwise set it to false. And by default, let's set the visibility of this to false. And that works. Okay, great. So we've got that working properly. And now we want to, let's just show this real quick. By default, it should be green. So let's just make it a really beautiful neon green to start with. Great. And then when we have the weapon delay, let's have a function that handle weapon delay. And so we'll say on delay void. So if on delay, let's say is on delay. This on delay just sounds like something else. So if is on delay, let's just say is delay. I like that better. If is delay, you know what? Is weapon delay. Even better. If is weapon delay, weapon delay animation scene dot, what is it? Dot modulate, I guess we can try. Dot modulate equals color dot, I think we can just say red, else weapon delay animation scene dot modulate equals color dot green. Let's give this a try. We didn't hook it up at all. So handle weapon delay. So in who calls this? Weapon calls it. So we can say, I don't love this because it's getting a bit, oh, no. It's getting too interconnected. I don't want to call game manager player from here because theoretically an NPC can use a weapon and we don't want that to affect the player state. So I guess that means we need to have a signal on the weapon that the player can connect to when you equip it. I guess that makes sense. So signal emit weapon delay. is weapon delay boolean. So we'll say self.emit weapon delay.emit true. And we'll do the same down here when the timer ends. And we'll say false. And then in the player, when we equip a weapon, let's get the weapon. Go self.inventory.weapon self.get inventory weapon. Weapon can have just a delay property that manager uses. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. The weapon manager gets a delay from the weapon itself, starts a new timer, calls it one shot because we don't want it to continue running. It starts the timer, and then when the timer times out, which I've already connected to in the ready function here, it calls the child nodes, the timer node, which I'm calling it, its timer ended function, which is in weapon here. And then on both sides of it, when a weapon is used and then when the timer is up, it emits the signal that I'm going to connect to the player, which allows me to call this handle weapon delay function to modulate the color. So we will say if the weapon is equipped, if weapon does not equal null, say weapon.connect, or wait, yeah, weapon.connect emit is emit weapon delay and connect it to handle self.handle weapon delay. Oops. Okay, so that should get called, and then when the delay is done, I think this should work. No, it's not. And why is that? This weapon delay. Color should be, maybe this modulate isn't working. Let's see if this is even getting called. Print is weapon delay. No, it's not getting called, which means we're not actually connecting to it here. So maybe this is getting, hold on. When are we emitting the weapon? Oh, okay. So we're emitting it before the weapon is equipped. So that's not gonna do it. We actually want to do this after. So if W is not equal null, we just do this. It's not ideal, but we'll deal with it for now. So now this should be accessible in this function. Actually, maybe we could pass the... That doesn't really matter, actually. Blah, blah. Hello. How's it going? I am, just for context, I am working on like a game development playground where I'm building out features. I guess for anyone that's just joined the stream. Game development playground, building out some features that I might want to implement in a future game. And right now I'm implementing kind of a weapon cooldown display. So when you use a weapon, it'll change a little icon to be red or green, depending on if you can or can't use it. Earlier in the stream, I added knockback to melee weapons. Last stream, I kind of hooked up the weapon inventory system to the player. And before that, I was working on different inventory and UI features. So let's give this a whirl. See if it works now. There we go. That actually works. And I don't think it looks half bad. It's not totally, again, not like the most necessary feature, but it is kind of cool to see. So if we add more rifle ammo, and then if we instead put a sword in here, it has a slightly longer delay. Whoops. Yeah, exactly. There's a cooldown. Invalid set index knockback direction on base zombie with value of type vector 2. Really? Wait, node not found player. Hold on, what was the error here? Knockback direction. Base with value of type vector 2. Hold on. Not really sure what happened here. Maybe it was swinging. If I swing a sword. No. Uh-oh, what did I break? I thought this was working. Invalid set index knockback. Okay. Did something happen here? Set. So self dot knockback. Invalid set knockback direction. Oh, I updated this to knockback velocity. Did I? But that should be updated everywhere else except. Okay. Forgot to set that here. Knockback velocity. All right. So I hadn't fully tested that since I changed it, but oh well. And okay, this is a stupid Godot bug, but if you leave a Godot error open in the script menu here, and then you, if you have it hooked up to VS Code, and then you go to play again, it actually overwrites the changes that you've made in VS Code, which is very frustrating. So you just have to remember every time to close out these scripts here. I wish there was a way to not have that pop up. But here we go. We got some knockback here. How am I handling my scene transitions for, like, are you referring to, like, you know, pause menus, inventory, that kind of thing? Also, hi, Kamo, hello, how's it going? So while we're here, let's go ahead and commit these changes. So we added the weapon cooldown scene to our player. Weapon cooldown scene to player. What was that, DDD? Extension cannot get debug info? I don't know what you mean by extension, but if you're referring to the issue that I was just talking about, where if you have an error and then the script pops up in the Godot editor, if you don't close it out and you've made changes in VS Code, then it... Is it really like 2 minutes after you send it? VS Code extension. I don't know if the VS Code extension can get the debug info. I am curious though. Hold on, let me mute this real quick. Am I getting them that far after? Yeah, that's kind of annoying. I'll have to, I wonder if there's a setting in here. I'll have to mess with that. Possibly off stream. Yeah. Wait, actually, I feel like that came pretty quickly. Okay, send another message. I'm curious how long it takes for me to see it in the actual stream here versus when it pops up on my Restream plugin. And of course, no one sends a message. Or maybe that's the delay that everyone's talking about. I thought he was just looking in chat time to time. Oh. No, yeah. It's like almost immediate, actually. No, I only... So, you guys can't hear it, but every time someone sends a message, there's a voice that reads it out to me. You're gonna time this one? It was like 5 or 6 seconds from the time I saw it down here to the time... Oh, you actually can't see it. Hold on. Let me do two things here. Okay, you should now be able to see both together. Hold on. The stream is delayed like, I don't know, 15 or 30 seconds. Well, so, yeah, okay, so it's delayed 30 seconds from my stream. But there's not a delay from the time that it pops up in the chat to the time that okay, I'm gonna have to look at this because I know there's like a there are some settings for low latency, and I might not have those on. I might not have those on for YouTube. I think it's on for Twitch, but might not be on for YouTube. So I will, in between streams here, figure out what's going on there. Oh, thanks, Hereditary. I'm looking for cheap viewers. Really? The YouTube chat takes 10 seconds? Okay, there's a setting. I'm sure there's a setting somewhere. Yeah. Okay, I'll figure that out in between streams here. But I'm glad to know that because that'll make it easier for me to interact with you guys going forward. Okay, Kamahelo says yes on menus. Like, are you using the change scene to file or using packed scene? So I can show you my so I have a pause manager that's global that handles a lot of my changing scenes. I'm just instantiating I'm preloading the scenes and then I'm instantiating them. And then I don't think I'm doing this ideally, but I'm basically setting it to a specific node and then checking once I like unpause, like freeing that node, if that makes sense. That's crazy, lol. Yeah, I'll get it fixed. Sorry it's taking so long between messages. But that should improve the experience a little bit more for you guys, as well as for me, because I don't want to have to wait 30 seconds to get a message. You know, that means I can only respond every 30 seconds to you guys, which is not ideal. fully caffeine for the rest of the day. Comment hello. I'm gonna wait for your response, and then I'll probably hop off the stream because I've been going for a little over an hour and a half, and I have something to do and not too long. Yeah, I guess while we're here, let's just quickly go over the things that we worked on today. We added, it's relatively straightforward. We added knockback for melee weapons. So you can see the zombies kind of get pushed back when you hit them. And then the other thing, you can see this green block. That means you can use your weapon. And when it's red, it means you can't. I don't think I covered the case actually with a rifle when you are out of ammo. But that's okay. I'll work on that next time or another time. Ooh, valid get index global position. Weird. I have not seen this bug before. I haven't changed anything about chunk stuff in a while, so I must have been like right on a chunk there. Okay, I see. Test. I did get this message before. Again, it reads out to me. There's like a person's voice that reads it out to me, but for some reason you guys can't hear it on the stream. Do I plan to make this multiplayer? I don't. I don't think I want to go down the path of making a multiplayer game in general. Because there's a lot that goes into that. That feels like a down the line kind of project to work on, but not something that I want to get my hands dirty with right now. There's too many game development things to learn before I dive into multiplayer. But yeah, I think I'm gonna end the stream here. I gotta go do some other stuff. I will not be on most likely tomorrow unless I get up like really early and stream early in the morning or stream really late at night. But probably not gonna be on tomorrow. And then on Monday, might be on in the evening. And if not, then I will definitely be on Tuesday. So I'll either see you guys in the next couple days or see you in a few days. But this is not the end. And I got some more features that I want to work on. I need to add stuff to the save system. I want to add a quick way to swap between weapons, show weapons on the UI, possibly expand ranged weapons to allow for different attachments and stuff. So there's more stuff to do. 15-second delay, yeah. So it's not so bad, but I definitely want to make it better. All right, see you guys. Thanks for hopping on. It was good.